One of these men rescued space monkeys Abel and Baker from the Atlantic Ocean. What is your name, please?
My name is Raymond E. Foy.
What is your name, please?
My name is Raymond E. Foy.
What is your name, please?
My name is Raymond E. Foy.
Two of these people are imposters. Only one is the real Raymond E. Foy, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now, here is our host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Now may I introduce our panel. First we have Miss Polly Bergen. Next, Mr. Ralph Bellamy. Then Miss Monique Van Vooren, who incidentally will be starring tonight here on U.S. Steel's A Taste of Champagne. And finally, Mr. Tom Poston. Now, panel, will you please follow along with your copies of this first affidavit as I read it. I, Lieutenant J.G. Raymond E. Foy, am a Navy skin diver attached to the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Program at San Juan, Puerto Rico. As part of my work, I am the leader of a team of divers responsible for recovering the nose cones of guided missiles fired from Cape Canaveral. With my four-man team, I recovered the nose cone containing the space monkeys Abel and Baker. Signed, Raymond E. Foy. Panel, you heard these three gentlemen all claiming to be Lieutenant Raymond E. Foy, retriever of missile nose cones. You all set, gentlemen?
Right.
Very well, let's begin this first round of questioning with Polly Bergen. Polly?
Thank you, Bud. Number two, it says here that you recovered the nose cone with the monkeys in it. How did you know where it landed?
Well, they told us.
The monkeys told you?
No, ma'am. The commander of the briefing session told us where we would be.
Well, did you know beforehand where it was supposed to land exactly?
Oh, yes. We had a general target area, an impact area.
Oh, I see. Number three, where exactly did it land?
It landed in the Caribbean near, I believe, Antigua is the island.
Antigua. Number one, which is the smaller of the two monkeys?
The one that's alive, Baker.
Baker. Number two, what was the condition of the monkeys when they were brought up?
They were in good shape when they were brought up.
Number three, were they conscious?
Yes, they were. I believe they were.
Number one, what was the name of the doctor who was in charge of taking care of the monkeys?
Which monkeys? Which one? Dr. Stolken was the doctor involved with the small monkey.
Number two, who was involved with the big monkey?
Well, that was Dr. Anderson.
Dr. Anderson.
The specialist.
I didn't know the answer to any of those questions I asked.
Number one, is it
Didn't I
possible to
turn
spot a missile before it lands? Can you see it before it lands?
Yes, it is. It's during re-entry phase. It's quite visible. Very brilliant light. Very easy to follow.
Number two, are there any physical or age requirements for your kind of work?
Well, there are physical requirements, some of the most rigid physical requirements for underwater work.
Number three, how much time does it take, or did it take, let's say, for the missile, the cone that you recovered to go down the Atlantic?
Well, it took 16 minutes from takeoff until it re-entered and hit the water.
And how deep do you have to dive for the cone?
Well, you try not to go below 50 feet. Normally 50 feet is where the cone is suspended.
Number one, how much did it weigh?
I believe it's 9,000 pounds total weight of the cone.
9,000 pounds?
9,000 pounds.
Monique Van Vooren, please.
Number one, when and where did the monkeys died and why?
Well, the small monkey is still alive. The large rhesus monkey died in an army hospital from a local or a general anesthetic that was administered.
And number two, what is the name of the Frenchman who invented the aqualung?
Well, it's Cocteau and Gagnon worked on them both.
Number three, what is the safe distance that you can skin dive in order to be safe yourself?
Well, we have a limit of 130 feet. Unless an emergency, then we can go lower.
Number two, are you wearing your own pants?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I thought they were a little wrinkles, and I was wondering if it was your own.
It's quite warm up there.
Tom Poston, please.
Number 3, as a skin diver in warm water, why would a swimmer ever punch a shark in the nose?
To keep them away from you. It's one of the only ways you can do it unless you use a knife. You don't have anything else.
Have you ever had occasion to punch a shark in the nose?
Well, on one occasion.
Number 2, what is the name of the explosive that is malleable and pliable like putty?
Oh, that's sulfur pentachloride.
Number 3, do you know a specific name for it, a common name for it, the initials?
That's TNT. Yeah.
Number 1, do you know the initials of that pliable, malleable, putty-like explosive?
Composition C.
I'm afraid the time is up. It's time to vote. And while we're all still pliable and malleable, and before we get too explosive, without consultation, will you mark your ballots? And in so doing, select, of course, number 1, number 2, or number 3. A team of challengers, as usual, will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Panel, have you all marked your ballots?
No, I
You
haven't.
haven't?
Oh, here we go again.
I have to ask you to
Well,
hurry.
if I don't know the answers to the questions I asked, how do you expect me to know the right one?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in that. You should know the answers to some of the questions the others asked, maybe.
No, I didn't know the answers to anything they asked either.
Well, for who did you vote?
I voted for number 1 because I don't think he knew the answers either.
All right, Ralph, your vote, please.
Number 2, I was on and off all of them, but finally number 2 seemed a little more tense and a little more apprehensive than the rest, so number 2.
Monique, which one do you think is wearing his own pants?
Well, I voted for number 2, and
But he's wearing number 3's pants.
I think so. This is why I'm changing to number 3.
Now, wait a minute.
Number 3.
Did we register number 2? If we did, it'll have to stay as number 2.
Oh, well, then number 2.
I'm sorry.
Well, because I think that you were right, Polly. I think he's wearing number 3's pants.
Tom, what about your vote?
I voted for number 1, Bud. I talked to Polly's nurse, She gave me this information, so we'll see how she does this week.
Okay. There we have it. Having made up our votes and our minds at the same time, we'll check on ourselves as to the ABCs of it now as we discover which one of these 3 gentlemen is the real retriever of missile nose cones. So will the real Lieutenant Raymond E. Foy please stand up? Well, panel did a 50% job on that one, and well done, too. Number 2, would you tell us your real name and what you really do, please?
Yes, my name is Gene Parks. I'm General Sales Manager for the Electrotech Corporation in Hackensack, New Jersey.
And number 3, what about your real name and what you do?
My real name is William Farrell. I'm also sales manager for Mutual of Omaha Insurance, Brooklyn.
Thank you. Well, it was a good round, 50-50 as it goes, and in checking the score, we find just that. There were 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500, gentlemen. Basically, I hope you enjoyed playing the game with us. We enjoyed having you here. On your way out, you'll find there's a carton of Marlboro cigarettes for each of you. Good night and good and safe diving. Now, panel, let's meet our next group of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bobby Shulie.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bobby Shulie.
What is your name, please?
My name is Bobby Shulie.
Again, panel, having had a look at the contestants, let's take a look at the affidavit. If you'll follow along, please. I, Bobby Shulie, learned to handle a shotgun when I was 9 years old. At 10, I won my first competition. This month at Virginia Beach, Virginia, competing against 480 men, I became the all-gauge skeet shooting champion of the world. Signed, Bobby Shulie. All ready? Okay. Panel, here we have three nice young people, all claiming to be Bobby Shulie, world skeet shooting champion. And we start this round of cross-examination with Monique Van Vooren. Monique, please.
Number 3, how many rounds are there in a championship?
How many rounds? 25 in each time you go around, usually about 100.
Number 1, how many did you miss in your championship?
I didn't miss any. I got 250 out of 250.
Number 2, is your gun made out of metal or is it made out of wood?
Well, the stock and forearm is made out of wood, and the rest of it is made out of metal.
Number 3, how many times can you shoot without refilling?
2 times.
I know it's not the word refilling, but you know what I mean. Reload. Number 1, you said that you won each one of them. The runner-up to your competition, how many did she miss?
It was a he.
And how many did he miss?
I don't know, about 10, I guess.
Tom Poston, please.
Thank you, Bud. Number 1, what's the purpose of a choke on a shotgun? Do you know?
No.
Do you know number 2?
Yes.
Well, Polly may not, so what is it?
Well, if you have a tighter choke, you can shoot a longer range.
I see. Number 1, let me ask, in competition, when Bobby Shulie shoots shotgun shells, how many shotgun shells does Bobby Shulie shoot?
Sir, would you mind repeating that?
Would you care to trade seats with me?
Polly Bergen, please.
Number 2, why is a rabbit shot with a shotgun sometimes rather difficult to eat?
Because you get the pellets all over them.
Number 3, how is a skeet Scott? Or, you know, scat? How is a skeet scat?
It comes out of a house, either low house or high house, out of a trap.
Comes out of a trap. Number 1, what is a skeet?
Oh, a skeet is a saucer-like. It's made of clay. It's 1 inch high and it's 4 inches in diameter. It's black and painted yellow on the top.
Number 2, what year did Jeff Hand hold the all-gauge skeeting championship?
I don't know.
Number 3?
I don't know.
Number 1?
Ralph Bellamy.
Number 1, how many stations in skeet?
8.
Number 2, what's a perfect score?
25.
Number 3, what gauge is used in championship skeet?
4 gauges. 12, 20, 28, and 410.
All gauges?
No, just the 4 gauges.
I didn't understand you.
Just the 4 gauges.
Just those 4 gauges.
Well,
That's it, I'm afraid. The panel, it's once again time to vote, and without consultation, I'll have to ask you to mark your ballots and select thereby number 1, number 2, or number 3. All set? Polly, you ready this time?
Well, now I ask you, do you know which one it is?
No, I don't.
Well, they all had all the right answers.
Well, then vote for them all.
Vote for them all?
Sure.
Can I?
No.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you, I honestly thought it was number 1 until she didn't know what a choke on a shotgun was. And then I thought it was number 2, excepting that number 3 was so quiet that I'll vote for her.
Okay.
Because it worked last week.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay. Ralph?
number 2, he's got a sharp, steely eye, and he seemed to be very quick with the information.
Monique, who do you think is the real one?
Well, I voted for number 3. I think that number 1 had all the answers, but I think that the nurse of Polly Bergen has some inside track in here. And I'm voting for number 3.
He's going to ask you for higher wages, I'll tell you that, Polly. Tom, your vote.
Number 2, Bud. And it looks like I'm going to have to talk to that nurse again. She gave you what? What number? How do you like that?
Well, there you have it. The men vote one way, the ladies the other. 2 and 2 again we have as our vote. And we're about to discover now, having given our reasons for the way we voted, the way of justifying it by finding out who's right and who's wrong. So let's see which of these 3 nice young persons is the real world skeet shooting champion, as we ask the real Bobby Shulie to please stand up. Thank you very much, Bobby, and congratulations on that fine record. Number 1, would you tell us your real name and what you do?
My name is Mary Kelly. I'm a junior in high school, and I've never fired a gun in my life.
And number 3, your real name and what you do?
My name is Marion McCall, and I'm a former stewardess, now a secretary for United Airlines.
Well, it was a great pleasure having you with us, and you didn't do badly at all there. You got 2 and 2, which means 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Marlboro. And incidentally, backstage we have for each of you as a gift from Marlboro one of our new intriguing to tell the truth games, which I may tell all of you folks watching our show are now available at toy stores and department stores, probably in your locality as well. Thanks very much for being with us. Hope you had fun. Good night and good luck to you. Now, panel, let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Prince Maharaj, Kumar, Malloy, Chun, Bahatab.
What is your name, please?
My name is Prince Maharaj, Kumar, Malloy, Chun, Bahatab.
What is your name, please?
My name is Prince Maharaj, Kumar, Malloy, Chun, Bahatab.
Panel, if you've tangled your way through that one, will you please follow along with you? I'll repeat it for you. Follow along, please. I, Prince Maharaj Kumar Malloy Chand Bahatab, am the 2nd son of the Maharajah of Burdwan. I am attending college here in the United States, majoring in political science and international law. This summer, while classes are not in session, I am waiting on tables in an Indian restaurant in Greenwich Village, New York. Signed, Prince Maharaj Kumar Malloy Chand Bahatab. Three charming young gentlemen this time. Panel, I think you'll agree, all claiming to be Prince Bahatab, son of a Maharajah and currently a waiter in Greenwich Village. We'll start this round with Ralph Bellamy. Ralph, please.
Number 1, what's a kubla?
A kuble.
What is it?
What did you say it was?
Kubla, what is it?
Kubla. I haven't heard of it before.
Number 2, what's a kubla?
Are you referring to Kublai Khan?
To what?
Kublai Khan?
No, a kubla, made of brass.
I don't think you're pronouncing it correct.
He doesn't think you're pronouncing it correct.
Well, it's made of brass. Kubla, I think.
Don't give him any more hints.
Number 3, do you know?
I've never heard a word like this.
All right, number 1, who was Rabindranath Tagore?
He was an Indian poet.
Number 2, I'm going to try it again this week. Who was, what does the name T.F. Hodge mean to you?
T.F. Hodge.
T.F. Hodge.
T.F. Hodge. How do you spell that?
H-O-D-G-E.
H-O-D-G-E. Hodge.
Hodge.
It's pronounced Kubla.
Number 3. Number 1, can you answer that?
No.
I don't know who this Hodge fella is, but I think you should break up with him.
Ralph, I think you have something very rare. Don't sell it.
I'm going to keep trying.
Monique, please.
Number 2, who was the English Prime Minister at the time India won its independence?
Lord Bacon.
Number one, how far is Kapurthala from Burdwan?
Can you repeat that name, please?
Kapurthala. How far is it from...
Kapurthala. I haven't heard of it before.
Number 1 again, what restaurant are you working at?
Number 1?
Yes.
Say number 1. What restaurant are you working at?
At Greenwich Village. Punjab.
And who owns the number 1 again? Who owns the Punjab?
Mr. Fred Stern.
Number 3, it says in your affidavit that you are in international law. What is the English law based on?
Common law.
Number 1.
Tom Poston, please.
Wasn't that nice? I've got to ask, number 2, where did the Malloy come from in your name there?
Where did the Malloy come from? That's my first name. That's a Bengali name.
Malloy,
Malloy, which means
like
the
an
moon.
Irish name here. Number 3, where is a case of international law tried?
Well, it depends. What?
I see. Depends on whether you know or not, eh? Do you know number 3?
No, I mean, what case it is. It depends on what case it is.
I see. Number 2, what is an Indian elephant trainer or master called?
Mahout.
Thank you. Number 1, who was Major Gray? Watch yourself there. Who's laughing
He
over
could be any major in the Indian Army. Well, I haven't heard of anyone by that name.
there? You don't know anything about Major Gray? Do you know number 3?
Major Gray Chutney.
Watch yourself there. Number 3.
Polly.
What? Number 1, no. Number 3, it says here that you go to a college. What college do you go?
I go to Temple University.
Temple?
Mm-hmm.
For an Indian prince, it figures. Oh. Number 2, what is Bombay duck? Number 2. Number 2, what is Bombay duck?
Bombay duck is fried fish.
Number 1, why don't you call it Bombay fish?
Well, I suppose because it's fried or something. They don't call it. It's just a customary name for it. Bombay duck.
They don't bomb it. I guess that's the only reason. But I have to bomb this questioning now because it's time to vote. Once again, panel. And if you will kindly mark your ballots, you will, as before, vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3.
I don't know, this show gets tougher all the time.
Put a direct line into your nurse.
She's not coming through to me this week.
Well, who did you vote in this round, Polly?
I vote for number 3. Number 1 said I don't know too many times. Number 2 said I know too many times. And he knew an awful lot, which always sort of makes me get a little nervous. And number 3 didn't say much of anything, so because we didn't ask him much of anything, so I voted for him.
Thank you, Polly.
You're welcome.
Ralph, your vote, please.
Number 2, and to save time for the same reason Polly voted for number 3.
Okay, ready? Your vote.
Well, I voted for number 3. It says in the affidavit that he works as a waiter, and he's dressed as a waiter. So...
And how are you in a lot of trouble? Could I change my vote?
No. The thing is, Polly, if he's the right one, we're all going to kill ourselves.
No, but I think, you see, they try to make it very hard of us, so they figure if he's dressed as a waiter, we'll never think he's the waiter, so he must be the waiter.
There you are. That's that reverse technique again. Tom, what about your selection?
I voted for number... Oh, sorry, I had it upside down. I voted for number 1 over there. Look at him. Just look at him. He looks like a prince. Besides, I like him.
All right, there we have the votes again. Once more in, and we'll resolve it now as we discover which one of these 3 gentlemen is the real son of a Maharajah and currently a waiter in Greenwich Village. Will the real Prince Bahatab please stand up? Thank you very much indeed. Well, we have the reverse this time. The 2 ladies are the right ones and the 2 gentlemen are the wrong ones. You may sit down, sir, if you will, please. And number 1, let's find out about you now. What is your real name and what do you do?
I'm Vignaraja Selamuthu from Ceylon, and I've come to study the Manhattan shirt industry in New York, so that when I go back home, I can open a company to manufacture these shirts in New York.
Number 2, what about you? Your real name, eh?
My name is Shyam Sundar Agarwal. I'm director of Devidal Metal Industries, and I manufacture bicycle chains.
Well, we have have again 2 incorrect votes at $250 each for a total of $500 from Marlboro. Gentlemen, on your way out, there's a carton of Marlboro cigarettes for each of you. Thank you for visiting us. Hope you enjoyed your visit. Good night and good luck. Well, that's all the time for tonight. Monique, we'll be watching you tomorrow night on United States Steel. Good night, panel.
Good night.
Bud Collier saying good night from Marlboro and reminding you to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Woodson Bill Tubman production in association with the CBS Television Network. Miss Bergen, gone by Wilmot.